I think this year, obviously, as everyone knows, has been sort of particularly unusual. But I'm still seeing lots of data analytics and data science work done. It's still, in some ways, it's become even more important. And so one of the challenges over the last year for me has been to keep the best members of the team in the team, stop them leaving elsewhere, keep them happy in their roles. And unless you really focus on the environment and the kind of work that you're giving the data scientists to do in particular, you'll end up just getting into bidding wars. And that doesn't really help keep the best people, and it doesn't really get people sort of pointed in the right direction either. So a lot of what I've tried to do is sort of get the environment right for people in data teams. So, for example, I made sure that every second Friday our data team had a hackathon day where they're basically allowed to come up with any particular problem that they want to try and solve. They all work together on it out of the normal business day and sort of present their solution back to me and other senior leaders at the end of the day. They didn't specifically have to do something that was of particular relevance to the company or that had a sort of commercial relevance. But actually, probably about half the time it did. And some of those things they came up with solutions for very much went into live production environments as well. So it's sort of virtuous circle, really. You sort of get the people interested, you get their minds on something they really want to try and solve. It can help the business, and it definitely keeps your best people with you as well. One of the things we did that helps keep the data analysts happy was pair them each with a data scientist. So that they were sort of supporting them in some of their work as well, so that there was sort of progression in the process. I think that was quite important. I mean, the other side of sort of giving the team work that they want to do, that they're interested in, is not giving them work that really isn't their kind of area of either sort of expertise or what they want to do. So I've had situations where we're doing a lot of correction of data going into the big data stores where we've identified there's some sort of error, and the data scientists have the skills to correct that data. And when that's happening a lot, that's the sort of thing they have to do. But it's not really what they signed on to do. So you have to kind of work with the business to make sure they're not doing that. I mean, one of the things I did was put my hand down on the table and said, right, from the end of this month, data scientists are no longer going to be data fixing. Now we have to, what's our solution to that? So who's going to do it? And so sort of force the issue so that we built that into the operations, which is where it fit better anyway. So it was the right thing to do. But yeah, so it's a combination of keeping them doing the work they want to do, showing that there's sort of opportunities for learning and progression, and keeping them away from the work that doesn't really need data scientists or data analysts to be doing. Very easy when you're all working at home to only go to the the set meetings and stand-ups and things like that, and not end up speaking to anyone in between. Whereas in the office, you'd have those conversations. So my sort of approach has been to make sure that in addition to the formal meetings, I'm trying to call a couple of people from my team every day, even just to shoot the breeze, to see how's it going, what you're enjoying at the moment, what's the problems, and make it open as much as possible. The sort of thing you'd do if you went for a coffee with them on a coffee break or something like that. You try, you have to make more of a point of doing it. I think that's the important thing. Yeah, I think there's going to be more of a need to sort of serve the right data to people's desktops, and that's not just within within the data teams. That's more for a whole business. More needs to be able to go on those screens around making what's the next best action, what are the things that we're looking at, what's important. And I think those kind of sort of dashboards and interactions and that information needs to be put alongside those sort of Zoom calls and things like that. It's at the moment people are getting used to being able to share their screen and show PowerPoint presentations on Zoom. And I think it needs to be more powerful than that, more powerful visualizations. Actually sharing a Tableau dashboard that you can dig into over this kind of call. So I think that's probably one of the big tech changes that hasn't happened yet, but I see over the next year. in one of the hard things over the last year has been that I worked in a business where not only there was a high volume of data, a significant volume of data, but that volume was increasing all the time. So when I sort of first started in the role, it was impossible to analyze more than about a week's worth of data with the stack that we had. But when we were looking to replace that, one of the important things was not that we were replacing it with something that could manage today's data, but it could manage next year's data. It was properly scalable solution. So we were able to find sort of solutions that not only sort of coped with the amount of data we had today, but could be sort of expanded and expanded. And there you get both a sort of a tech and a commercial aspect. So the solution has to be scalable, but obviously, you can scale anything, but if you're paying on a sort of per processor basis or sort of something like that, the costs soon get bigger and bigger and bigger as well. So one of the important things is to try and negotiate, boundaries of costs where you get further discounts for volume and things like that. So you've got to get that combination of getting the right tech solution, getting something data scientists and analysts can use well, but also and is it scalable and expandable, but the commercial side that allows you to negotiate so that you're not suddenly by the end of the year paying millions because of your increase in data. And it could literally be if you increase enough.